kthehemi sërish në studio me miqtan. Në pjesën tonë të dytë të emisionit do të flasim për gjendjen e fushatës elektorale. Jemi në prang edhe të konventës së Partisë Demokrate. Do të diskutojmë jo vetëm për Republikanët, po të flasim edhe për kundërshtarët e tyre, për Demokratët. Curiosity, because I have you here.
Sure.
You are a prosecutor for Wayne County. Wayne County includes Detroit. Detroit has been for a long time one of the worst places of crime. I don't hear about Detroit nowadays as I hear from New York, for example, or Seattle or San Francisco. Why?
Sure. So Detroit doesn't have as large of a population as some of those cities. I think New York is 7 or 8 million. Chicago's about 2.5 million. Detroit is somewhere in the range of 650,000, but per capita, Detroit still has a highly severe crime rate. And so there's a lot of factors, economic factors, the way you're raised. I'm huge into personal responsibility, the friendships that you develop, the people that you associate with. And so a lot of it is you can't always make a law to legislate morality. And this is why we're conservative, because we believe this country was founded on solid moral law. This country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. And so if we deviate from tradition and we deviate from those values and people leave God behind and they allow crime to fester and immorality to fester, then these are the reasons why you have the issues that you have in some of these jurisdictions. And just to Mark's point, when you don't when the morale is down in some of these agencies, in some of these prosecutors' offices, then you're not going to have the right people going in a public office. And thank God we have people like Mark and people like me that we care more about the community, we care about others, that we're willing to use our talents to benefit society. But a lot of people will just sway away from that and not want to get involved.
Okay, as an Albanian community, in the name of our compatriots, I thank you for the job that you are doing.
Appreciate you,
brother. Now, let's talk about Noni. Noni sells cars. How is the market going, Noni?
So the market is tanking, unfortunately. With everything going on right now, and interest rates are still like 7 to 8%. People are keeping their money. They don't want to invest as much as they used to, because there's just one day that we've seen that stock market crash day. It was one of the worst days, and people lost a lot of money in their 401ks, a lot of money that they invested, and they are not investing as much as they, unfortunately.
Are people buying used cars or new cars?
New cars are very expensive now, so they are much more. So they are shifting towards used cars. The price started to move a little bit, but interest rates are horrendous. So people can't afford, buying new cars because they are like double, triple the price now.
What about EVs? We should be the country that buys EVs that cost $60,000. EVs is not going very well for these EV companies, unfortunately. Ford just came out with an article and they're losing $130,000 per EV car. And they are closing a lot of their lines, so they don't want to build them because they saw that it's not going well for them. There is no market.
There's no market, and it should not be. All of these cars, their batteries are being built in China. They are undermining our jobs here in Michigan. Stellantis is closing a lot of jobs and offering buyouts right now. So we are looking into a big crash coming up, and that's a reason of our government. That's
okay, Michael.
I wanted to just add to the whole thing about the automotive industry. So when Donald Trump was president, Ford had announced that they were going to build a factory in Mexico. When Donald Trump found out about this, because it's no secret that Donald Trump loves America. He loves the American people. He loves American manufacturing. He wants to see us prosperous, okay? He's a billionaire. Come on. He wants everyone to be prosperous. He said, okay, Ford, if you build this factory in Mexico, then I'm going to tariff every single vehicle that is produced in Mexico and gets shipped to the United States at a pretty high percentage rate. Well, when Ford found out, when Ford was told about what Donald Trump said, they ended up canceling their plans to build this plant in Mexico, okay? So that's just one of the many stories that I've heard about Donald Trump, which point to his love for the American, the average American, the American manufacturer, to make this country great again. And there's just so many stories about him that make me just admire the man, which is one of the many reasons that I am a huge supporter of him. So, but yeah.
We are just at the eve of the Democratic Convention. This convention has as Democrat representative the Vice President Kamala Harris. Somebody called, even Trump called this, that it was a putsch within the Democratic Party in order to remove the president, the actual president, Mr. Biden, and to give all the rights as to select instead of elect the representative of the Democratic Party. What's your opinion about this coming convention?
Of course, nothing surprises me when it comes from the left. I mean, all our candidates, they always been selected, not elected. We know that. Of course, after they saw that Joe Biden was losing so badly, and they saw that they have no chance of winning, they just kicked him overnight over the curb, and they put somebody out there that has not a single vote. She's a truly definition of being selected from your higher ups. You don't do that. You're in the middle of your election, and your candidate is the opposing candidate is beating you so badly, and last minute you ditch him over and you put somebody that hasn't received a single vote.
That's not no democracy.
Yeah, they claim like
Democratic Party.
They claim like they fight for democracy, but they are with everything against democracy. Because that's how they operate. It's a party that has no values, nothing democratic about that party anymore. That's why they are being called. They are progressive socialists, and they are working towards communism. I mean, look at the candidate they have now. They have the most liberal senator. She's even more liberal than Bernie Sanders. Like, imagine that, where this party went through. I mean, they shouldn't be called a Democratic Party anymore. They are the Socialist Communist Party, in my opinion.
Why the media is trying to cover her previous opinions, like anti-fracking, that has to do with the economy, with the drilling, and the other opinions against the financing the police, or against the illegal immigrant or pro-illegal immigration, and how she can stay and say, our border is secure.
So, Raphael, not many journalists are like you that are truth seekers. The journalists that we have in this country are propaganda promoters. And the Democratic Party has the biggest super PAC, which is the media. And instead of holding Democrat politicians accountable, they cover for them. For example, speaking of the border, Kamala Harris was early on in the Biden administration, was given the responsibility through the president and the administration of being the border czar. And now the media wants to retreat from that.
She is not being a czar. But there are clips there. It's not 20 years, 30 years. Everybody has a cell phone.
Raphael, there are media clips from the administration and the White House press secretary that said that Kamala Harris had this responsibility. And what did Kamala Harris do? She failed at securing the border, finding the reasons why the border is unsecure, and then now being fake and phony, trying to retract from that position and saying...
retract, but blaming Donald Trump for that.
Sure.
It's absurd.
And I can now I've had a case that's concluded, Raphael, but I prosecuted personally an individual that came across the border in March, this past March, went to Dallas, Texas, picked up a brick of 1,500 grams of cocaine and then another brick of 1,700 grams of cocaine, which would be about over 3,200 grams of cocaine, street value being about $600,000 in value. And that individual was caught by the Michigan State Police trying to use public transportation here in Detroit, in Metro Detroit. And so people are asleep at the wheel. When we say that there's a border crisis, it's now reached, it's not just an issue in the southern part of this country.
No, it's not.
Now it's in Michigan and now it's in the northern part of the country. And so we don't want a president that doesn't stand with the border agents, and we don't want a president that doesn't believe in securing their home. I can tell you for a fact, Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris and all the leaders in the Democratic Party are protected by law enforcement that carry weaponry, that secure her home and their homes with fences and whatever else defenses they can put forward. And you, Raphael, and so do I, when we go home, we close our front door and our back door and we close our blinds when we're at home. And the country should have the opportunity to do the same. And so we need the Albanians and the Americans to wake up and say, we want to stop illegal aliens from coming into this country. And we want to stop criminals from coming into this country because our law enforcement officers have their hands full just dealing with citizens that commit crime and adding that added stress on them of illegal aliens committing crime is a huge problem, Raphael.
They say that the percentage of crime from illegal immigrants is less than the percentage crime from ordinary American citizens. Is that true?
Well, sure, there's going to be more American citizens by per capita, but it still doesn't take away that we have individuals in this country that should have been deported, and the border should be secure. And we have facts that some countries know that the border is open, and so they're releasing people from their prisons and allowing them to migrate north into the United States. And there's even been individuals stopped at the border, Raphael, that have been on the terror watch list, that have come from China because they know that southern border is porous. And so it's a national security issue because we have adversaries, countries that are adverse to America, that want to hurt America, that want to destroy America, that are using our border against us.
That's why you can find too many Chinese or people from Afghanistan or other places, even people that are in the terrorist list. Të dashur teleshikues, po ndërpresim këtu emisionin për një pauzë të shkurtër publicitare.